frankly, I mean, we're the music industry. Think about it. You're making a product that no one needs. Humans can live without music. It's debatable whether or not we could thrive without it, but it's not like we're making bread.
I'm making this because I don't really know how to feel about this.
We're making music, and it's something that they buy with their disposable income. So you're making a product that we don't need and we already have too much of.
Is there too much music, or is there too little music that feels like anything?
They don't have to know a major scale to play a song in a major key.
Yeah.
Do you have to know nouns and verbs and pronouns and participles to use them? No. You don't teach a kid to spell milk before they've been drinking it for years. No. You give them enough milk, they'll learn the word for it because they want more. We slow you down by thinking you have to learn all this stuff before you can play.
Yeah.
I say play first and then learn what you're doing after you're doing it.
If science is the study of, then that means something comes before science. That's where feeling comes from. That's where the magic sits. Music is magic first, then science, not the other way around.
It's a bamboo flute playing only one note. But the pygmies, who are the inventors of this flute, are clever people. The pygmies have invented a fabulous musical technique or instrumental technique, which consists in having a conversation with their own instrument. You ask the flute to speak to you, and the flute says something like, and you reply to the flute by saying,
I probably was writing my first songs when I was about 7 or 8 years old. Whenever I hear drums, I can write the melody. I don't need a chord. I can actually hear melodic notes in my head.
Music exists in us before we knew chords, intervals, scales. The music is already there. Those are just tools to try to explain sound, try to explain the magic.
We're music, and we allow you to hear it through an instrument.
The modern world treats music like an engineering problem, like there's a blueprint somewhere, a recipe. Just follow the steps and you'll get the results you want. Think about it. If there was a blueprint, why would Suno need to train their AI on your music? Why would YouTube or Spotify even need your music? These companies have billions of dollars. If there was a blueprint, they would just buy it. They would buy the blueprint.
1,000 years ago, in 1020, an Italian monk called Guido invents staff notation, and life was never again the same for Western music. Why is that so important? Staff notation was a tool of church control. What is astonishing is that 10 years after Cortez decimates the Indians in 1519, by 1530, you have Aztec musicians singing Spanish polyphony in Mexico Cathedral. So music notation becomes the sharp end of the stick of globalization and the domination of the planet.
What we're confusing is the map for the territory. There's a difference between the map of the territory and the actual territory. Music theory, it doesn't explain why music moves us. Science has its place. I just don't agree it comes first.
William James, another of my heroes, it is a general principle in psychology that consciousness deserts all processes where it can no longer be of use. In fact, progress is not towards becoming more conscious, but by allowing most of what goes on in one's life to inhabit the realm of what we call the unconscious. And so this is true of people with great skills, like surgeons, pilots, chess players. They realize something when they act, but they cannot necessarily explain afterwards how it was that they decided this was what needed to be done. So when I'm conscious of something, it means more often than not that there's something wrong.
I don't think success in music comes from starting there. Science can describe it after, but it can't teach you how to feel.
I was introduced to Brigitte Bardot. Oh my God, a little mousy as a person now, standing with you, short and completely uninteresting. And yet on a screen, she has this kind of charisma and, pardon?
What is the reason? What do you think?
That's a mystery, and we don't know why. But that's part of the beauty of cinema.
I used to think myself that music was assembled. You know, add this here, add that there. What if music is not assembled? What if music is uncovered?
And there's no predicting it, and there's no accounting for it. Like,
Nah. And that's why, to me, like, you got to just make the music that you believe in, because you can't predict it. You can't predict it. You can't, like, you know, you can't copy it. You see someone else doing something, like, oh, I'll do that too. And it's like, nope, it's an equation that seems simple, but it's really complicated.
What Jay Dilla is explaining is not a system. It's something else, something hard to explain. Magic.
They take the inspiration and then goes and do the exact same thing. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Where what I feel when I make music is like energy, but it's not like I'm not thinking about Premier when I make it. I'm not thinking about P Rock.
When we did In My Bed, it started out like a Spanish-y riff, and then he just had it in the drum machine from when Nas was there, so he just hit the loop, the pattern sample, and it just worked. It was just crazy the way that worked. And then we kept it in because it felt so right.
The music industry tries to manufacture music. You can't manufacture that. You have to catch it.
We musicians, we're priests, and we have a congregation. And we can't afford to do self-indulgent things like be depressed or look depressed or think about ourselves. I'm a very important priest. You know, the priests like that, or the vicars like that, they take them away in a white van, you know, because they don't understand that people aren't coming to the church to see them. You get that? It's about something. You know what he wrote when he finished a piece of music? You know what Bach wrote at the end of every piece of music? You know what he wrote? For the glory of God. Right? So we're priests. And you just did that. And the faces were just spectacular. That's a successful sermon.
All art is the same. It's like any performance. Depending on the day, the performance might be a little bit different. You have to catch it.
Was it scripted?
No. The humming,
Yeah.
No, it was not scripted. On probably the sixth take, Mike didn't stop the car. We got to what was supposed to be the end point, and he veered off into the underbrush and kept going.
What do you call those moments, and how often do they happen?
Brilliant accidents.
You can create the context, you can build the set, but once you put the people there, you can't control what goes on. Not 100%. Something happens when you get the right mix in the right room at the right time. That's the part people miss.
I'm playing the chords with my back turned to them, quietly. All of a sudden I hear a voice come by and goes, "What's that you're playing?" I was doing, and then he goes, "Ooh, I like that. It sounds expensive. It sounds expensive." and I'm sweating now. He's talking to me, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, he goes, "What do you got for the chorus?" Because I said, "Oh, it's just a little verse." And he goes, "What do you got for the chorus?" I'm like, "Don't tell me I'm writing a song right now with Paul McCartney. Please don't tell me that's happening."
When you know how to swim, you don't think about the function of swimming. You just swim. Music don't feel alive if you're constantly engineering it in your head over and over again.
It requires a stupid bravery all the time, but you could sit here all day. You can go, okay, maybe that's something. But if you don't go, sunlight's beating on the corners of the walls, and I'm a Mr. Know-It-All. Heaven calls, get yourself right now. If you're not Ouija boarding immediately, you're wasting time.
There's also something happening underneath all this. The music business changed the music. It ruined it. It changed the way people work together. Now everyone wants to be a solo artist because it's more efficient to be a solo artist. It's more cost effective, but there's less magic that's captured in the room. There's less ideas. There's less dynamics. There's less fun. Efficiency is optimization. Optimization is like the death of fun, the death of soul. It's the death of magic. You leave no room for magic.
But the problem is really serious when you go to a small group where they're sort of past that stuff and they can focus on the problem. So occasionally it's off the rails, usually works very well, and once or twice per film, then magic happens. By magic, I mean that ego has left the room. You have these intense discussions, and somebody can say something and it doesn't work, and they're not thinking about my idea wasn't there. They're always back on the problem, and it's described in like in sports as flow, or in areas like that as flow. But it's like a group getting into that state, and that's the ideal place to get.
Not everybody is built to be a solo artist. I know this for a fact. Because I'm often on camera alone, I can tell the difference between the way I talk to a camera and the way I talk to another human being. The energy level is different. It's no different with music. So now the music we're hearing is under the pressure of being self-contained. Every drummer wants to be a front man. Every background singer wants to be a solo artist. The drummer is now forced to make his own albums, sing on his own records. Nobody has a role anymore.
I'm lucky to participate in this magic that's happening. I get to be in the room when it happens, but it's not from me.
What do you mean it's not from you?
In the
You're like a conduit? Is that what do you mean?
Yeah, I would say that. I'm in the service of it. I'm devoted to setting the stage to allow it to happen.
A lot of times we attribute the best moments to luck, and that's true. There is some luck involved, but it's not just luck. It's creating an environment where that moment can happen. And it's usually more likely to happen when other people are involved. When you're not thinking about efficiency, when you have people who can push you, it changes the dynamics. It's not as simple as music theory. There's something else there. Music theory can't get you that. It can't replace that.
When you went to that chord, we all felt it. We all felt like, oh, that's not what one would expect. And it's deep and rich. It's like several layered emotions at once. How conscious were you of there being a balance of accessibility with simplicity and maybe throwing in something that's a little bit more sophisticated, like some of these chords?
I didn't think about it. We did music that we liked. Mm-hmm. I did music that I liked, and I played it with people that I loved, and we came up with things
that were natural
to us. Mm-hmm. Again, in the moment of what it was that the music was telling us that we needed to do to make it right. Now, I will say we were aware of groove. We focus on the music feeling great.
Mm-hmm. We have to create an environment where we have the time for something unplanned to show up. There's an energy. You can't dictate the energy, not 100%. The energy can't be controlled, but it can be captured. And you can look back and see the energy and try to create the same environment that produced the energy before. If you want to support the channel, there's a donation link at the top of the description. I don't always have to be right. I just want the opportunity to be wrong. If you like the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I can make you look, but I can't make you see. Seeing is a choice. This is Brian from The King's Hand.
The appointed hand of the king.